Starting your day off with a take on Vegas you won't get anywhere else.
Hi, I'm Holly Madison, and I listen to Brian Shapiro.
Hi, this is William Shatner, and I listen to Brian Shapiro.
Hey, this is Larry the Cable Guy, and I listen to Brian Shapiro. Why? Because I'm a good American. So is he. And if you don't listen to him, you need to pack up and leave this country.
This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
Come on, guys!
Oh, yeah. What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us. 50,000 watts of voltage right at you on the FM. Well, that would be the AM dial. You can't have 50,000 watts on the FM dial.
That would blow it up.
Stupid me. That's the voice of Ron Futrell from Channel 8. Ron always joins us every Tuesday. Ron, good to see you.
I have a question right off the bat. Do you know what that last guitar riff is?
No idea.
In your intro?
No. It's Collective Soul, one of my favorite bands.
Is it Collective Soul?
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know the riff. I know you're
okay,
a
but
guitar.
it's okay, so I got to hear that.
Speaking of guitars,
in its context.
I'm glad you brought that up because actually I had a chance to interview Mr. Carlos Santana. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, but we have a lot to get to today in the show. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, as you know, there's been plenty of school shootings, plenty of tragedy, right? What can we do to fix this problem? Well, instead of talking to a politician, okay, I want to talk to someone who's been through, sadly, a horrible tragedy. Her name is Kaylin Bailey, and she was one of the survivors of the shooting in the Colorado Theater massacre that killed 12 people and injured a bunch of people. She survived. I want to get her take on what's going on. As you know, there was another school shooting in Colorado. So Kaylin is going to be joining us coming up at the bottom of the hour, and I want her opinion to be heard. No question about that. Coming up in the second hour, the UNLV basketball program. Let's give a little positive news out there. It wasn't great news yesterday with Anderson Hunt in studio talking about that TJ Otzelberger, Larry Johnson picture. But coming up in hour number 2, they did release some of the away games this coming year in T.J. Otzelberger's first year, and they're pretty good games. The schedule looks pretty good. So Mark Anderson for the Review Journal is going to be joining us in hour number 2 to talk about that. So a lot to get to, but I want to start off with something that I hate to laugh about this guy, right? Because he's such an idiot, okay? No, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I know what you were thinking. I'm talking about Anthony Weiner, okay? This is the disgraced former congressman whose bulge was shown to the world. Everybody saw it. He sent it to everybody, including an underage girl, and that's why he had to go to jail. He just was released today from a halfway house, so the media is waiting for him outside. He's a disgrace. We all could agree on that. He's an absolute and utter disgrace. He's an idiot. He needs mental health and mental help. I hope he got it. Something tells me he didn't. So he's walking out of this mental health facility. This is the first day he was released, and I want to play this audio. These are the first things he said to the media, literally seconds after walking out of this halfway house. Let's go ahead and play that.
Good to be out. I hope to get back to my family and make up for some lost time.
Do you feel like you've learned any lessons? Do you feel like you're a new man?
Look, I feel like I am glad to be getting back to my family. I hope to be able to live a life of integrity and service, and I'm glad this chapter of my life is behind me.
Okay, first of all, this chapter of his life is not behind him. It will live with him for the rest of his life. So, Mr. Weiner, with all due respect, it's going to live with you for the rest of your life. As far as being, getting back to your family, I don't know if Huma wants to see you or be around you. But anyway, he said the right thing there, right? You want to spend, he said the right things there. But as far as living a life of integrity and service. What is this guy talking about? Integrity and service. This guy will never serve in any capacity, maybe serving French fries. And I don't want to insult people that work at fast food chains. Does this guy really think he's going to be back in the public eye and in public service? Does he really believe that, Ron?
Maybe the service he means is, like you said, maybe serving French fries. I think a little bit high. He could probably go a little bit higher level than that. Maybe I don't know if he can get a job waitressing, being a waiter at a restaurant. Let's see.
What about
service?
We've heard of webcam girls. What about webcam guys? Do you think Anthony Weiner could make a living being a webcam guy? JD, would you buy a subscription if he did do that? Would you be willing to buy if $19.95? I don't know, for an hour. I don't know how that stuff works.
I mean, it seems like a pretty decent deal.
Yeah. Do you think he?
I'd probably consider it.
Okay. In all seriousness, though,
you're in the Weiner market, huh? Okay, I didn't see the USB in that demo, but okay.
But in all seriousness, guys, what can this guy do now? I mean, he'll never practice law again, right? I would imagine.
I don't know. I don't know whether that keeps you from practicing law. I mean, I don't know who his clients are. I do have a personal story about this. Do you want to hear
Did he send you a picture of his bulge?
No, he didn't send a picture, but no, let's go here. Let's go Andrew Breitbart. 6 years ago,
Yes.
Andrew passed, and Andrew and I were good friends. We did
he's the one who broke the story,
different
yes.
events together, and he broke the story. And in fact, he sort of let me in on the inside in that he would call me, Andrew, and consult and go back. We'd test theories back and forth on how he should react and what he should do, because somebody had sent him the pics early on, and he put them out there. Now, fast forward to we went through it, apologized once, and then had a second incident.
And then did it again, yeah.
And that second incident, Weiner was having a news conference. Mm-hmm. It was in New York or D.C., I don't remember, but let's say New York, probably. That's where he lives. And I get a phone call 6:30, 7:30 in the morning on my cell phone. It wakes me up, wakes my wife up. And I take it into the other room, and it's Andrew. He's at LAX, and he says, I'm going to New York. Weiner's holding a news conference. What do you think is the best strategy? How do I deal with this? And what's going on? I said, Andrew, I said, you're the story right now. No, he's the story on a negative, but people are going to want to talk to you. I said, if he's late at all, if he doesn't show up on time, you take over that podium.
And he did.
And he did. And he took over the podium and did that. And I had a big smile on my face.
I didn't know you knew him, and that's really cool.
Yes.
You know who else took over the podium, or who else interrupted the press conference? It was Benji Bronk from the Howard Stern Show. I'll always remember that.
Too, yes, but he also, the media wanted to talk to him. He was part of that story.
I hear you. He was part of the story.
He honestly stood there and answered their questions.
That's really cool that you had a relationship with that. I did not know that. I also remember the guy from the Howard Stern Show. As Anthony Weiner is up there emotional, there's some things I probably can't say on the radio, but he said, were you aroused? Were you able to finish? He was asking all these questions.
I don't know what that means.
In the press, I mean, it was just, but it was funny and sad. It was sad because he has a family, Huma Abedin, it was sad in that aspect because I can't even imagine what she had to go through because of this scumbag.
Well, it didn't help Hillary's campaign. That's her right-hand
No, absolutely
gal.
not. But look.
And this right in the middle of the campaign, all this stuff is going on here, and certainly did not help
and you know
Hillary.
what? I'm glad.
Hillary should be a better judge of who she chooses.
This guy has a huge... Well, I should stop it right there. Yeah. No, but he has a huge ego, and he seemed to never admit when he was wrong. Obviously, he's a liar. But even walking out of the halfway house today, I thought what he should have said was, I'm so ashamed for what I have done. I've paid my debt to society, but I have not paid my debt to my constituents and to my family. That's what he should have said. Instead, he makes it all about him again. He says...
He wants to run for mayor. He will run for mayor again.
It's ridiculous.
He's going to run for public office again.
That is a disgrace to the Democratic Party. All right, let's open up the phone lines. 257-5396, 702-257-5396. What do you think about Anthony Weiner? What do you think about his comments walking out of the halfway house today, say he wants to live a life of integrity and service? To me, he's delusional. All right, we'll take some calls, and let's start with Tony. Again, that number to call, 257-5396. Tony, what's on your mind?
Hey, guys. I just want to let you know that I think that this Anthony Weiner character, he will not last long on the streets. Somebody will, knife him or something.
You really think that?
When he was locked up.
You really think that might happen?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I have no sympathy for a scumbag like that.
Well, I agree with you. I
wouldn't doubt, but hear what he said. He was ready to go serve something.
Yeah.
I would not doubt that it's already scripted that he's going to pop up in one of these campaigns, like supporting Joe Biden or whatnot, and it's going to. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Here's Anthony Weiner should do this. If he wants to produce income, what he needs to do is go out there and he will say, I will refuse to endorse your campaign if you pay me. If you don't pay me, I am going to endorse your campaign and you're a dead man. Like David Duke could do the same thing. Yeah. Like, go out there and let's reverse this thing a little bit.
Yeah.
And I will endorse your campaign unless you pay me. You pay me and I'll shut up and keep quiet. See, he could, just a thought.
Well, I think we all could agree, Tony, we don't want anybody to knife him. We don't want anybody to resort to violence. Even though I agree with you, he is a scumbag, and I hope he doesn't serve office ever again. He'll never win. With that being said, the man still deserves to be able to live his life. He did pay his debt to society. I hope he doesn't make any other mistakes, Tony, but I'm sure you would agree he does deserve to live his life.
This guy.
I'm sorry?
I think he will reoffend.
Well, I hope he doesn't. I hope you're wrong.
Put somebody away
Yeah.
for something like that and let him out and think that they're normal again.
Well, probably not.
Normal, apparently.
Probably not, but what are we going to do? Put him in jail for the rest of his life?
No, but they should monitor this guy really close.
Well, he's on probation, Tony, so if he does anything that's wrong, guess where he's going?
Parole.
He's right. He's going back to jail. So I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, Tony, and trust me, my man, and thank you for the call. I have no sympathy for this guy, but at the same time, I do believe that he deserves to live his life. He's gotten a second chance already in politics. That's gone. But now he deserves a second chance in life. Let's see if he can do that. 257-5396, 702-257-5396 is the number to call.
Never forget, Britney Spears made a comeback. Okay, and America loves comebacks.
Are you really comparing Anthony Weiner to Britney Spears? Did that really happen?
It got pretty low.
Wow.
She was in some pretty low depths. It got married here in Vegas.
Oh, baby,
24
baby.
hours.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to sing Britney Spears.
She's made a glorious comeback. I'm going to say he's going to. I'm not saying I want him to. I don't care. I don't care enough about him.
What's your favorite Britney Spears song, Ron Futrell?
I have no.
JD, what's your favorite Britney Spears song?
Baby, but.
Don't think too hard on this one. It's not that hard to think.
That's probably
Is that it right there?
Ron probably just took the words, the tune.
Oops, I did it again.
Just right out of my mouth.
Anthony Weiner.
Ron, just kidding. It's I'm a slave for you, but it's fine.
Oh, that's a good one, too. I like the video for that one. 257-5396. Again, that number to call, 257-5396. Go to Jim. Jim, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind, Jim?
Anthony Weiner would not know integrity if it bit him in the...
You're probably right.
Yeah.
You're probably right on that one. I'm not going to disagree with you on that one, Jim. You're not going to get an argument from me.
Sadly, most sexual predators do reoffend.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just the studies bear this out that like 80-something% reoffend.
Can I just say one thing, though, Jim? And again, I am not trying to defend this guy. However, thank God he didn't actually physically assault somebody, and in no way, shape, or form by defending sending a picture to an underage girl, whether he knew or not. The bottom line, the fact that he did it again, he deserved what was coming to him. But with that being said, I am not going to put him in the category of someone that actually physically, sexually assaults somebody. I don't think he's at that level.
Coming to him the first time.
Well, you're right. I mean, he did it once, and then he did. Obviously, he has mental problems.
The first time, there might not have been a second time.
You're right. I mean, he's obviously is mentally disturbed. First of all, say what you want about Huma Abedin's politics. I think she's a beautiful woman. She's very attractive. And even if she wasn't attractive, that's not even the point. He had a beautiful wife. He had a child. He had a life in
He had a beautiful family.
Right.
And he screwed it up.
Big time. Big time. No doubt. And I do you think there's
and say what you want to about the president and his mental health status, but compared to Anthony Weiner, he looks like the Pope.
I do not disagree with you. I don't disagree with you, Jim. I mean, I'm probably going to agree with a lot of the conservatives that call in today.
Well, this is a pretty easy one. But never forget though that he had the Secretary of State's emails on his laptop computer because she was so loose with her server. I will. I'll absolutely go there. Never forget that she was so loose with her email.
Well, so's Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. I don't hear you complaining about that.
They're not the Secretary of State.
Doesn't matter. They're still representing us. They're still
not the Secretary of State. She was the Secretary of State.
And what's Kushner's position? Kushner's position isn't
not
important.
The Secretary of State.
What's Kushner's position?
What assistant works in the White House?
Jared Kushner? Are you out of your mind?
He
has one of the top positions in the White House.
As he should.
I'm just making that case, Ron. If you're going to talk about servers and emails,
you cannot compare the two.
Okay,
you cannot compare the two.
Please.
She was loose.
Yes, I can.
She allowed her emails.
So's Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner. I don't hear Republicans. Why do we talk about this stuff?
They weren't confidential. They weren't private. They weren't.
We go to something that we all agree on, and you've got to bring something up and play partisan politics again, Ron. Why do you do that to me?
That's not partisan.
We were getting along great for the first 10 minutes of the show.
That's not even part. I'm not even saying that's
a negative. You're going after Hillary Clinton's email. That has nothing to do with Anthony Weiner.
Maybe that was a positive. Maybe it's a positive.
Fine.
That she did that. That she allowed because her server was unprotected. That she allowed it to go to places like that.
Fine.
I'm not. That's
She
did it. She's smarter than me. She's the Secretary of State.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. 257-53. Let's go to Ron. Ron, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind, Ron?
You guys are having fun tonight, aren't you, gentlemen?
We always have fun.
I love you, Ron.
We always have fun, Ron. What's on your mind?
You got to give time for your callers.
I'm giving you time right now. Go ahead.
Well,
What's on your mind?
Number one, the Weiner himself, the Weiner, okay? He was married to Hillary Clinton's right-hand girl.
Right.
I just found out information that the right-hand girl was having an affair with another guy. Now, this is the truth.
Okay.
I'm not lying.
Okay, well, there's no
I'm
proof.
Not making up
Okay,
stories.
let's just say she did. What does that have to do?
The Weiner himself can't be helped. And guess what? They all lead back to one person, the top Democrat of the party. You see, all these.
This has Ron. What are you talking about? This has nothing to do. You're blaming Democrats because Anthony Weiner sent pictures of his bulge to people.
Democrat, and his wife was Hillary Clinton's right-hand woman, girlfriend. If in other words, they were lesbians.
Ron, have you hit up the dispensaries this afternoon?
Hell no, man.
Oh, because you
sound
sound
more fun. I just won two George Strait tickets from another radio station.
What?
I'm happy, man.
All right. Well, Ron, I'm happy for you. You're not making a lot of sense with this story, but I appreciate the call. Thanks for calling in. 25. Congratulations on those tickets. I didn't give them to him.
You brought up an interesting point. The dispensary thing does put new.
He sounded like he had
a new issue.
He sounded like he had a little bit of Jack Daniels.
It's a new issue with callers.
257-5396, the number to call in. Let's go to Scott. Scott, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind, Scott?
Yes, I know what Anthony Weiner's next job is going to be.
Oh.
Just be PG-13 because the FCC's listening, please.
Oh, yeah, I'll remember that. Okay. No, he's going to become an evangelist like Tammy and Jim Baker and Oral Roberts, and he will say, and he will fly those crocodile tears like Jimmy Swaggart, and he will say, "I have seen the light. I have repented, and every one of you send me $10,000 in tithings, and I will make sure all of you go to heaven."
All right, Scott, let me ask you a question, though, okay?
Yeah.
We all agree he did some horrifically horrible things to his family. He's a nut job, okay? Can we all agree that we hope that he was rehabilitated? We hope that he learned his lesson. We hope that he gets back into society and can work and to do something positive. Can we all agree on that?
Well, I can agree on that. I really have to be honest, and I really don't know what he did. Didn't he send pictures of
he sends
his parts to a 10-year-old or
No. It wasn't a 10-year-old, but it was one underage girl. I don't think he knew that she was underage, but that's academic. He did it anyway. He sent pictures and he lied about them to a number of people. And that's what he did, Scott. I appreciate the call. I have a quick story to tell about this Anthony Weiner thing. Ron Futrell knew Andrew Breitbart. I did not know that. I knew a woman, and I haven't talked to her in a while. Her name is Lisa Weiss, okay? Lisa Weiss, I believe she's still a blackjack dealer at the Bellagio. This was one of the first women back in the day that Anthony Weiner sent a bunch of pictures to. Okay, so there were a ton of people, national media, in front of her house in Henderson, and I was one of those people, and I found her Facebook account because I was a reporter at the time, and I spoke with her on the phone, and I said, "Hey, can we meet and can I do an interview with you because we want to do a story on this?" And her response to me was, "No, but I'll meet you for a drink." I said, "Oh, okay, all right."
Hey now.
She was an attractive woman, and I'm like, "All right, let's do it. This should be interesting." So she's showing me, chats between her and Anthony Weiner, and they are extremely graphic, and a lot of them went public. And I remember Bill Maher doing his show the following week was making fun of her and read a transcript of their chat, and she cried and she was upset. And I guess one news publication put that story out, and so did I. Bill Maher, say what you want about him. I know you're not a big Bill Maher guy. He actually read one of the stories, reached out to her, invited her tickets to see him at the Palms. She invited me, and then we met him backstage, and he could not have been nicer. I thought that was a very nice gesture for him to do that. She had her issues as well, and she wished this thing never happened. But the worst part about this story is somebody like Anthony Weiner, same thing with Tiger Woods, right? These women are victims to a certain degree, okay? They didn't want their name and face out in public. He never gave her an apology. He never reached out to her game. Same thing with Tiger Woods. All these women that went out, that were out there in public that he dated and was cheating on his wife. Tiger Woods never apologized to any of these women. Anthony Weiner never apologized to these women. And it affected them. And look, maybe some of these women, I know there was at least one that did porn after this Anthony Weiner thing. Some of them took advantage of this situation, but I think the majority of them did not want to be in the public eye, and Anthony Weiner should be ashamed of himself, and what he should do is he should at least write a letter or reach out to some of these women and apologize for what he put them through. I'll tell you what we got to do. We got to take a quick break. We are going to switch topics to a more serious subject. We're not talking anymore about Anthony Weiner and sending pictures of his wiener everywhere. What I do want to do is I want to talk to this young lady who is very brave when we come back from break. Her name is Kaylin Bailey. She made one of the first 911 calls. She was in the movie theater in Aurora when that thing went down, and she has a lot to say about gun control and gun violence, and there was another school shooting not far from her in Colorado. We will get to Kaylin coming up next. Going to be very, very interesting to hear from her and hear her story. And like I said, she's very brave. We'll take a quick break. We'll be coming up right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDWN.